Thank you for your participation today. We would like to welcome you to the event on Swagatam India Seminar on Tourism Promotion. 本日はようこそインドへ観光促進セミナーにご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。First, I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Shivi George, Ambassador of India to Japan, to make opening remarks. はじめに駐日インド大使シビ・ジョージ閣下より開会のご挨拶をいただきます。
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Yasushito Takahashi, Director JTA, representative of ITOC Sri Mishra, my dear friends, let me begin by congratulating the team for putting together this interesting and important meeting. 3 T's is a very important element in today's India's efforts to engage with the world. Let me start with a small story which I wanted to share with you, which happened yesterday. I was in Kobe and was talking to a group of friends of India. So one of the senior gentlemen asked me, Excellency, how much time should I spend in India to get a total grasp of India? The answer was, I was ready with the answer. To get a grasp of India, you might have to spend a few lifetimes. Definitely one lifetime is not India, is not enough. So, but what we can do is that, obviously that is not possible, at least for the time being, in few generations after might be possible, but not now. So the only thing which we can do is to continue to available, look at the, what is he giving a lot of stuff? None of this is required. So the only thing which we can do is to keep engaging and talking to people about what India offers today. I am back to Japan after almost 20 years. What I have noticed is, first and foremost, the connectivity between our two countries. 15 years back, there was no direct flights, but there are at least 3 or 4 direct flights every day today, and connecting flights much more. So the connectivity factor, which was a hindrance in the past, is not there anymore. If you want to travel to India, connectivity is there. If you want to travel from India to Japan, there is connectivity. Second thing I noticed is the increasing number of travelers between the two countries. It has really picked up. A lot of Japanese friends are traveling to India for tourism, for business, for other engagement related to academic. A lot of exchange is happening. So in my meetings in Japan in the last a month and a half, the first question I normally ask is, have you been to India? And most of them, I'm happy to know that Most of them have been to India, and some even multiple times. But many of them I found that it is in their wish list. I want to go to India. So as an ambassador, it is my responsibility to move it from the wish list to the to-do list, and to do immediately list. That is why we are here. Try to persuade our friends in Japan to travel to India, because one of the most important element of any bilateral relationship is people to people connect. India has everything that a Japanese tourist is looking for. Everything India offers, whether it is adventure tourism, medical tourism, or the land of Lord Buddha offers Buddhist circuit, or the land of Mahakal, Daiko Kuten. Correct? Yes. A lot that connects our people, our two people together. So I think what we need to do is to reach out to more people and tell them that there is a lot of connect. And each visit to India and from India contributes in building our relationship further. Every state of India has today some connect with Japan. Delhi, the Delhi Metro, Varanasi, the sister city relationship between Varanasi and Kyoto. There are 12 Japanese industrial townships in India. I think we should reach out to more Japanese and tell them, go and visit these places. Ecosystem is there. Every village of every state definitely of India has something to connect with Japan. So we need to reach out to our Japanese friends. We propose to organize this kind of tourism related events in every prefecture of Japan. We need to reach out to the prefectures and tell them, persuade them, and showcase what we have in India and what we have common. I recall the visit of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji to Japan earlier this year, when he spoke about the visit of Swami Vivekananda to Japan in 1892-93, that period, when Swami Vivekananda had urged and said that every youth of India should visit Japan at least once in their lifetime. And referring to that, Honorable Prime Minister said, and let me quote, in line with today's era, I would like to say that every young man of Japan should visit India at least once in his life. I think it has come from the Prime Minister, which would help us further build our relationship. So once again, I congratulate our team to put together this seminar. Once again, I thank each one of you for coming and joining us. Wish you all the best. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, sir. Next, we will play a video on Indian tourism. Please see the screen. 続きまして、インド観光についてのビデオを上映いたします。スクリーンをご覧くださいませ。
This is such a vast country.
I could be anywhere in the world, but here I am.
It is every person's dream to be mesmerized by the beauty of the Taj Mahal.
When you come here, you discover an instant comfort and delight for India.
For me as a designer, I'm inspired by its timelessness.
As a writer, I know that my chapter with India has only just begun.
Food and travel are my passions.
Do you see what I see? Here I am, playing on the world-class golf courses in India. Do you feel what I feel?
India has a power, a magic about it, that draws me back here each time. can't wait to go back and discover more.
This is my 8th time here, and it won't be my last.
They are travelers, not citizens of just one nation, who find ways to make home in places that invite them in. And India is not just incredible, India is acquirable. It won't just accept you, but pull you in with open arms, allowing your passions to find peace. India is a personal voyage, an endless profusion of everything for everyone. It may not have all that you singularly want, but it'll give you the one thing that makes you richer.
Do you see what I see?
India has made me believe in myself.
Everywhere you go will have a secret to share. Anyone could give you a memory to take back forever. You'll never feel what someone else felt, and you'll never see what someone else saw. There is no one India for everyone. There are billions of Indias, and you will find yours. Discover an India that's truly all yours.
Request Mr. Abhishek Goel, Political and Commercial Officer, Embassy of India, Tokyo, to give a presentation on Indian tourism. 続きまして、在日インド大使館政治商務担当官アビシェーク・ゴエルよりインド観光について講演いたします。
Thank you, Natsumi-san. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ambassador sir, DCM sir, Takahashi-san, members from iTalk, Padmani ji from Indian Tourism Office. Thank you all for joining us today. I'll give a brief about India's tourism sector and why, as the ambassador was mentioning, why you should definitely visit India, not once, but maybe make a trip to every state. And as you know, tourism is a key contributor to economic activity. It is an important sector for job creation. It stimulates sustainable and diversified development. It has been greatly impacted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As the government of India, we have worked very hard in partnership with the industry to revive the sector and get back to the pre-COVID levels. As the ambassador was mentioning in his speech, tourism has been identified as a priority sector for India in one of the 3 T's, which consist of trade, tourism, and technology. Under the leadership of our Prime Minister, India has been able to achieve unprecedented success in vaccinating our people. We have achieved more than 2.2 billion doses of vaccination in this short span and also donated to more than 100 countries. So just as an introduction, you see, India has a very rich and cultural and historic heritage, which deeply connects with Japan also. India-Japan connection has been more than 1300 years old, where the first noted presence was Bodhidharma from India in 732 AD. Friends, India is one of the most popular travel destinations across the globe, and I'll come to that later. This is only due to the consistent efforts of the central and state governments and our partners in the industry to recover from the COVID 19 pandemic shock and operate at pre pandemic levels. So, I'll also touch upon some statistics. So, you see on the top, we have the market size, and maybe it's a little difficult to view, but the direct contribution of tourism directly to GDP is more than 100 billion US dollars. But there's also an indirect contribution of more than twice that size of $200 billion. This whole industry is expected to increase at a pace of 18% annually to reach around 194 billion US dollars in 2028. At the same time, the peripheral, the ancillary activities, the infrastructure development, the employment activities, the sustainable development goals that can be achieved will reach more than 500 billion US dollars to India. When we see the purpose wise tourism arrival in 2020, which saw definitely a dip from the earlier years, most people had traveled for leisure, holiday, and recreation. Many had also traveled for business and profession. A lot of people from outside India, Indian diaspora members, had come back. And one more important is the medical tourism. So, India has grown as a medical tourism destination. It currently ranks as number 7 in the world, and we hope it reaches number 1 very soon. Another key trend that we want to showcase is number of foreign tourists arriving in India. We see that it has grown from 8.8 million foreign tourists to around 11 million in 2019 before it saw a dip. And then again, after post pandemic and due to the efforts of the government of India, it has increased again. Foreign exchange earnings from tourism in India has also increased every year around 5 to 6 to even 10% on an annual basis. So, as we saw earlier, there's a robust demand for tourism, and it's only going to grow from here further. India currently occupies 1.5% share of world tourists, and we'll see this trend later also. And around last year, it saw 33% of all tourism in Asia. So 33% of all tourists in Asia went to India, and that is a precursor to how big the market can become. The travel market in India is projected to reach around 125 billion US dollars by 2027, growing at almost 20% annually. As I had discussed earlier, the medical tourism is also predicted to increase by more than 21% annually. So, India offers a very diverse attraction. It has more than 37 World Heritage Sites, 10 biogeographical zones, as well as a plethora of cultural, natural destinations to visit. And there is a, like I mentioned earlier, 3T policy support. So there's a effort, concentrated effort to boost the tourism industry. So some trends I wanted to showcase. So Japanese tourists, for example, definitely like to visit the Golden Triangle, and there's a pamphlet outside also for your help that what is the Golden Triangle. So the Golden Triangle is Delhi, which is the capital, then Jaipur and Agra. So all these three together constitute the Golden Triangle. And now there is a direct connectivity which runs between Tokyo and Delhi. It also runs between Tokyo and Mumbai and Bangalore. And we hope that in coming days we'll see more and more cities in Japan and India connected together without at a non-stop flight. Buddhism circuit is another favorite destination of Japanese. Buddhism circuit I'll cover later, but it travels around the path Buddha had taken during his lifetime. Then another the destination is Maharashtra, Goa, Kerala. which Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, these are all very famous tourism destinations, not just for Japanese, but all across the world. When we talk about the Buddhism circuit, we see that it is the Buddha told that they can attain merit and a noble rebirth by going on pilgrimage to the places where he was born, which is Lumbini, where he gained enlightenment, which is Bodh Gaya, where he first taught, which is Sarnath, and where he finally attained nirvana, that is Kushinagar. So this Buddhism circuit takes you to these places and helps you experience firsthand the disciplined and the legendary life of Lord Buddha. So day one, this is a just one of the custom tours that the Buddhism circuit train takes. It travels through New Delhi, then day two, which is Gaya, and this is the map that they follow. Then day three, they go to Rajgiri and Nalanda. Day four is again Varanasi, and Varanasi is also the place where Prime Minister Abe had visited with Prime Minister Modi. We have day five in Lumbini, day six in Kushinagar, day seven in Sravasti, and day eight finishing the tour with a visit to Agra. So the Buddhism circuit has been a constant attraction, and there have been many Japanese uh, made hotels facilities available which are exclusive to Japanese people on the circuit. And we really want you to further explore the opportunity to visit this. Then there's further trends that we wanted to talk about. One is the inbound tourism trend in India. Of course, we saw that foreign tourism had grown a lot over the past few years, reaching 11 million, and the total tourism to India had reached around 18 million people. Due to COVID, this all had fallen around by more than 80%. 2020 and 2021, we saw further decline, but now the tourism has picked up, and we see more and more, not just foreign tourists, but also domestic tourists traveling across India. Percentage of Asia in the world and percentage of India in world and Asia. So we saw that almost 1.2% of total travelers visited India in the world, and 5% of all the travelers in Asia and the Pacific region visited India. During the pandemic, and due to the concentrated efforts of the government and the opening of Indian borders, international borders from May 2022, we saw that almost 34% of all the Asian and Pacific region travelers visited India. So this is a huge jump, and even the world percentage has increased from 1.22 to 1.64% of all visitors across the globe visit India. For foreign travelers from Japan to India, generally more than 200,000 to 250,000 people visit India. Before COVID, we saw a gradual increase of 5 to 6% annually, which further fell down by more than 60% due to the restrictions on border. But hopefully, when the data comes for this year, we'll be able to see a huge jump again. And like I said before, earlier many people had traveled for leisure, holiday, diaspora people, business. But now medical tourism has become a huge part of Indian tourism portfolio because Indian medical tourism offers cheap, reliable medical services with expert doctors and very high technology medical equipment. So again, we hope that more and more people can utilize this opportunity and travel to India. I'll cover a little bit about the government initiatives that we have done. So one is the Swadesh Darshan. This is very similar to Go to Travel in Japan, where during COVID the government initiated the program for the internal audience so that Indians themselves will be able to explore more about India. I myself have not been able to travel more than 8 or 9 states uh, through all the years living in India. So this Swadesh Darshan wants Indian to explore their own country. Then there's a Prashad scheme, which builds on the developing religious side, tourism sides, because in India, many of the tourism invariably uh, merges with religion tourism. So a lot of sites, a lot of tourism places will have some temples, some monastery that people love to visit. Then there's also certification and to tourism service provider for standardization and training. Here you can see our Honorable Prime Minister Modi along with Antonio Guterres during the launch of Mission Life at the Statue of Unity. This is the world's highest statue at Ekta Nagar, Kevadia, Gujarat. And the Mission Life is expected to be an India led global mass movement that will nudge individual and collective action to protect and preserve the environment and needs to be embraced in full. We can all contribute to Mission Life by adopting a sustainable and a responsible lifestyle. Again, there also has been a post COVID tourism revival focus. The government offered free visas to first 500,000 people who had applied. Dekho Apna Desh campaign is the same that we had discussed earlier, where it's to promote the internal tourism or the domestic tourism. Sathi system was adopted to standardize and train tourism guides so that more and more people are fluent in Japanese or other major languages from which tourism countries come. Nidhi system was again to standardize. Now the government of India itself gives star ratings based on the facilities available with any of these faculty. Mission Life, we talked about e-visa and travel visa on arrival. Again, both these facilities are available to Japanese tourists, and we hope more and more people. And Japan is one of the very few countries that has been given the visa on arrival status. So we hope that more and more people will be able to take advantage of this. So again, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope that through this seminar and subsequent seminars, we'll be able to get more and more people to look at India, and we would require the help of the industry to make that a reality. Thank you. Arigato gozaimashita.
Thank you, sir. 続きまして、国土交通省観光庁参事官高橋康人様よりご挨拶いただきます。Next, I would like to request Mr. Yasuhito Takahashi, Director for Travel Promotion, Japan Tourism Agency, to make remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yasuhito Takahashi, and I'm in charge of outbound policy and domestic tourism promotion at Japan Tourism Agency. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency, the Ambassador, and the Embassy for their efforts in organizing this seminar. And I am very happy to give a speech at this seminar on tourism promotion. Today, I'd like to introduce tourism exchanges with your country, as well as Japan tourism policy and the trends of Japanese outbound tourists. First of all, please look at inbound visitors to Japan. This bar graph on the left side shows the transition of inbound visitors to Japan. The number of foreign visitors had steadily increased from 2012 each year, and it reached about 32 million people in 2019. However, as everyone knows, the number of inbound tourists dropped sharply in 2020 due to the pandemic of COVID-19. Also, please look at a pie chart on the right side. About 70% of inbound to Japan came from neighboring states in 2019. Southeast Asia and India accounted for 12% of the total. Considering the potential of India, we believe that more Indian people would visit Japan Secondly, I'd like to inform everyone of the exchange population between India and Japan. The red graph shows the inbound from India to Japan, and the blue graph shows outbound from Japan to India. Both of these graphs illustrate that the number of inbound and outbound had steadily increased until 2019, but it decreased sharply due to pandemic of COVID-19 as well. These days, our country is ready to welcome the inbound tourists by opening the border from 11th October. And we are working on increasing outbound visitors and further expanding exchange population with foreign countries, of course, including India. Next, I'd like to talk about our efforts toward a tourism nation. With the revival of tourism, we aim at revitalizing local communities in a sustainable way. It is important to attract tourists to regional areas and to increase travel consumption for the recovery of domestic and inbound travel. And in 2025, some big events are scheduled to be held, such as Kansai Exposition and World Championships in athletics. We will continue to work further efforts toward them. Next slide says an initiative for rapid recovery of inbound tourism. In this initiative, using the internet advertisement and some social networking service, we will promote special experiences such as limited access to the Tower of Himeji Castle, which was registered as one of the first UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Japan. Furthermore, this initiative is focused on new experiences in wonderful nature and unique Japanese food, culture of washoku and sake. Move on to the next page. We will introduce features of tours to India made by Japanese travel agencies. As mentioned, Golden Triangle is a major destination of trips to India from Japan. Prior to COVID-19 crisis, a lot of Japanese travel agencies created tours to world heritages and wonderful nature, especially Taj Mahal in Agra and Ganges River. In addition, many Japanese people tend to like Indian traditional dishes such as curry, naan, and tandoori chicken. Furthermore, there is a unique exercise of yoga, which is so popular for a lot of Japanese people these days. Finally, I am going to refer to barriers Japanese people are facing when going on a trip abroad, as well as the main purposes of their travel. Before COVID-19 pandemic, security, cost, health were main barriers concerning going on a trip abroad. In addition, the spread of the COVID-19 has added new concerns about overseas trip, such as fear of COVID-19 infection, social acceptance of overseas trip, border measure. Public hygiene is more important than before. On the other hand, the main purpose of Japanese travel is to see nature, scenery, and historic architecture. We believe India has these factors and that more Japanese people would visit your country by taking more measures to improve travel environment in India. And these days, Japanese yen has been going down against US dollar. In this situation, the number of outbound travelers from Japan should basically decrease. However, regarding Indian rupee, there is no significant impact against Japanese yen. It is possible that this situation may be a tailwind for choosing India as a destination. This is a very brief overview of Japan-India tourist exchange. As the Japanese government, we would like to cooperate with the Embassy of India, Japanese travel agencies, and other organizations to have more Japanese visit India. Thank you for your attention today. Good afternoon.
ありがとうございました。 Next, I would like to request Mr. Mishra, President, Indus Travel Corporate Limited, to give a presentation. 続きまして、インダストラベル株式会社代表取締役ミシュラ・ラジーブ様よりご講演いただきます。
ステージ、まずは、His Excellency, Ambassador Abhishek Goel, Political and Commercial Officer, JT Takashi Sama, and distinguished guests, and all ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. インド大使館の大使様、政治及び商業担当課ゴエル様、JT の高橋様とご来店の皆様、ようこそ。で、まず本日はですね、このセミナーに参加いただきました皆様、皆様に心から感謝を申し上げます。で、私がですね、iTalk という、社団法人 iTalk の、会員様でございまして、インダストラベルのミシュラと申しまして、今日この機会には、ご紹介いただきまして、みんなに、ね、インドのセミナーの簡単なことをご案内します。で、先ほどゴエル様から、いろいろインドの詳しいことを案内させていただきましたので、インドの今日のセミナーに関してもちろんゴエル様からすべてインドのいろんなことを、紹介いただきましたため、私は今日9日の前、9日の時と9日後の、インド政府の、成果および、その後のインドの政府の、ご記録でインドの中にある、インボーンド、あとは国内旅行、どういうふうに成長してきてました。それをご案内させていただきますと思っています。I would like to express that because today's in seminar, Goelji has already introduced a lot about India, and our Excellency Georgie also had introduced about India's miracle of the destinations and about the living facts of India. So, keeping those things a little bit different, I'd like to introduce about the India's safes, India's government's workings, achievements during the pandemic and after the pandemic, and the contribution for the tourism. こちら見るとですね、コロナ禍等の叩きにおいて、インドはですね、奥の精神国よりはるかに優れています。そのため、まず私たちみんなインド人は、科学者、医師、看護師、救急隊員、ワクチン接種に携わるスタッフを誇りにと思い、感謝しています。インド国内で製造されたワクチンを使用して、人類史上最大のワクチン接種運動を開始しました。これからに対するインドの対応は全世界で高く評価されていますと、みんなにはニュース回ってますね。で、その後ですね、インドの成果といいますと、インドはですね、大体もう21年、去年の初めぐらいからですね、インドのおよび接種は開始しまして、1月ぐらいからはもう60歳以上、すべての高齢者を向けに開始しました。で、たった5ヶ月後には、また5月に18歳以上の予防接種も発表しまして、で、2021年の6月、大体6ヶ月後かなと、インドの人口13億人分も無料ワクチン接種を発表しました。で、その後また、今年22年1月ぐらいから合わせて、3月までは、12歳、14歳、15歳、17歳までの皆様を予防を接種しまして、で、11月、今年の11月時点で、だいたい29本ワクチン接種率をインドが公表しました。これがこの13億人口の中では、他の国と比べてみれば、中国や他の国と比べてみれば、大きな成果ではないかなと我々は感謝しています。でもちろん、インドはですね、インド これさっきの話なんですけどね、いろいろで、もちろんその、インド以外ですね、過去にももちろん何年もインドは重要な薬や医薬品を世界一番に供給してきましたが、コロナ禍の時期にはね、インド世界中の100カ国に、コロナ禍の医療品、薬などを提供してきました。もちろん、国内のインドの人口13人分も接種しながら100カ国の、薬を、提供したことも非常に感謝のことですとは思います。で、この中で何も隠さなく、このような重要な時期に、世界のこの大きな助けによるインドはグローバルリーダーとしてもなってきましたという話でございますね。そのワクチンが終わった後ですね、もちろん、去年ぐらいですね、大体間にオミクロンなども入ってきましたから、一時期インドが5月にロックダウンをして、で、多分ロックダウンしたのはインドが他の国と比べて、一番早かったと思いますけど、それはそれのおかげでというか、これの成果で、大体、経済のコントロールもできたと言われますね。だから、2020年の2月までインドがコントロールすることができまして、またそのオミクロンの、また復活した理由で、一度またロックダウンをしましたね。で、2021年までは、またインドは経済を復活のために、再びすべての経済を活動開始しました。ということは、その21年から見れば、この1月、今、丸1年ですけど、この速いスピードのおかげで、多分インドが早めに元に戻りましたとは思いますね。で、今年3月時点で、インドはすべての制限を終了すると発表しました。これもインドの一番、スピーディーの成果ではないかなと思います。で、全世界でコロナ禍との経済の困難があったとき、when everywhere in the world was chaos and in the world、インドは COVID の叩きをともに、経済的な側面も合わせて行動しました。コロナのみではなくて、もちろん経済のことも考えながら頑張ってきました。今日、インドは世界で最も業績に成長している主要経済国の一つです。で、国際通貨基金に IMF によると、インド経済が 9.5% の成長を予測しています。でもちろんこの 9.5 ですけど、国内でも大体今のところでは 7.7 か 7.2 ぐらいは成長していますよ。で、また、じゃあ今度、その、旅行産業によりますと、これが今までは、どうやってインドが自分の経済とワクチンのことを接種しながらコントロールしてきて、それで、じゃあ国内のもちろん、先ほど、大使様とグエ様も申しました通りに、TTT、3つのことね、その中で観光業界、旅行業界の中でも、インドの観光産業は新型コロナウイルス以前との国内の総生産の2000億ドルを貢献してきました。これは役割で見ますと 6% ですね。で、政府の都市化送信関係官によると、これは2028年に2倍以上に5120ドルに達成する見込みです。で、それの詳細は先ほどご依さんも申しました通りに、これはもちろん海外のインボンドと国内のことと、それに関わる他のホテルの進化とか、それ含めての、だいたい2028年までは、今よりはもう 2.5 倍ぐらいは見込みしております。で、ロックダウンの解除の後ですね、だいたいそれは2020年と21年の間見ると、特に、国内旅行がいきなり増加してきました。まずはその国内が増加してましたね。で、これが我々の中で、国内で見ると、みんなが家でいるのは退屈でしたので、多分そのロックダウンが終わったらみんな急に出始めまして、リベンジトラベルではないかな とは言われます、国内ではですね。で、その理由としてはですね、国際からの観光ビザの回答待ちとの遅れの理由で、インド人が国内旅行を選択しました。これが一番大きな原因ですね。もちろん飛行機の値段とかもいろいろありましたけれども、でその後はアメリカとヨーロッパなどの物価の増資に、インフレによる、それもインド人の国内旅行を選択しましたと。で、また政府代表団と国内、海外の数の増加などのおかげでも、国内が増えてきました。で、他のたくさんの理由ありますが、それ以外は今度インド政府が、インドのインバウンド、いわゆるインドに入ってくる海外のお客様に対するいろんなポリシー、いろんな規制を緩くしてきましたね。去年の大体10月、8月、9月、一時期ヨーロッパ、アメリカ、イギリス、ロシア、イランからの結構お客さんいましたんですね。残念ながら今年、このウクライナの問題やと、ちょっと一時期また下がって、今現時点では、やっぱりヨーロッパの一部、イランなど、ロシアなどからのお客さんがまだまだたくさん現地では見られます。ですね。で、先ほどの、ごめん。じゃあ、インド政府がどういうふうに、インバウンドのために緩くしてきましたというと、まず22年のこの11月から入国のために、2回ともの、証明書ね、接種証明書と、または RT-PCR 検査の陰性証明書を提出することを廃止することになりました。で、それ以外は、今まではですね、インド入国時に義務でありました、デリー空港のホームページのエアインディアスウィダでの自己申告書、これも提出することの廃止ことに決まりました。それ以外は入国制限について観光目的を含め、すべての外国人の入国を許可すると。ビザの発行に関しても、世界中であるすべてのインド大使館は、他の多くの国と比較して、最短時間で観光及びその他の重要のビザを提供しています。ご存知と思いますけど、他の国、ヨーロッパなどの今結構列待ちとか長い時間、なってますけど、その全部のいろんな国の中で見ると、まだまだインド大使館、海外にあるインド大使館、領事館などがもう3日間以内とか、たまに緊急の場合に1日でも2日間でも出すときありますから、これが一番、早いインバウンド復活するための、成果と思いますね。その後ですね、国内のことを見ると、こういうふうにも憧れなんですね。どこ行っても、ホテル、電車、結婚式は、すべてうまいんですよ。みんなもう通常通りに生活しています。マスクなどを一切していません。で、この電車、こういうユニフォーム出ますね。国内では、だいたい、感覚としては、まず、このインドの接種、ワクチンが強かったと、国産のインドの作られたあれが強かったと一つも話がありまして、あともう一つは、あくまでもこの今、このコロナ禍を風邪的に考えなければ、もう伸び伸びして一緒に終わらないですね。日本の中でも見ると、大体今、普通の風邪に近いほど考えていただくと、だんだん減ってくるんじゃないかな。あと、もちろんそのコロナ禍も緩くなってきたんでしょうと、ウイルスの。これも一つ、事実じゃないかなと思います。で、それ以外はまた、その、インドの、観光業についていきますと、インドは皆様ご存知の通りに大きな国ですね。30州であり、広大な魅力の提供している国なんですから、お城から平坦地まで山から砂漠までビーチ、ジャンガル、森、たくさん見るものがありますね。でご様様もおっしゃったように、仏教のことであり、お釈迦様のこと、プラス観光地のゴールデントライアングルなど、たくさん先ほど案内しましたが、で 22年現時点では、インドには世界遺産が、40世界遺産があり、世界で6番目の多い世界遺産の国ですと言われますね。でこのぐらい大きい世界遺産の中では、もちろん日本人がみんな世界遺産好きですから、いっぱい選択する、観光名所を紹介するもの、惣菜あるんじゃないかなと思いますね。で、インドがですね、その観光名所と一緒に、観光行く場所と一緒に紹介するものは、いっぱいありますね。で例えば、我々旅行会社の中で見れば、他の国では娯楽としてはいっぱい、ディスコや他のものあるかもしれないけど、それとちょっと違いまして、もちろんそういうものもありますけど、少し違いまして、インドの USP 何言いますと、私個人的な考えなんですけど、救急の USP は、我々の精神性、ヨガ、アイルベーダ、歴史、文化と、いろいろそういうものがインドの、USP でございますね。でインドの伝統的な、ライフスタイル、釈迦様の国であり、神の国、プラス神の地域と言われるケララ、州のビーチ、いろいろインドにはたくさん訪れるところはありますと思いますね。だからこの短い時間ですので、今回はインド全体的のいろいろ皆様、今、そのコロナ禍の後の動きが案内しましたが、少しずつインドが始まってますので、ぜひとも皆様ご協力をいただけば、来年23年向き、上期、下期でたくさん新しい商品作っていきましょう。インドはもう安全で、ワクチンがない、もうコロナ禍がもうないと考えていただければ、もちろんインド行けば、インドの免疫で皆様もっとも丈夫になって帰ってきますと思いますので、よろしくお願いします。ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much, sir. Now we will conclude the event on Swagatam India seminar on tourism promotion today. Thank you very much for your participation today. 以上をもちまして、本日のイベント、ようこそインドへ観光促進セミナーを終了とさせていただきます。本日はご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございました。We will have a networking session with light refreshment at the foyer just outside of this venue from now. We hope you will join us. この後、この会場を出てすぐのホイヤーで軽食付きの名刺交換会を開催いたしますので、ぜひご参加くださいませ。ありがとうございました。